Welcome everyone to the BCMA show where we like to bring in artists that are up and coming in the scene of country music, and some have already been established. Today we have a very special guest whose single Lights Out is on our BCMA Top 40 right now, number 30, and that's Mr. Matt Caldwell. How's it going today, Matt?
Hey, man, it's going good. It's going good.
Man,
Can't complain on this end.
I hear you, man. So how was your holidays? Did you have good holidays?
Yeah, I did. It was full of a lot of going around. Me and my wife, we went to Paris.
Wow.
So we took a 10-day trip. So yeah, we got a tear gas and everything in between. So it's awesome.
Wow, that's awesome, man.
Can't make that up.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, I know for me personally, I had a great holiday season with family and all, but it's a new year. It's kicking off. You know, everybody's back to work. Kids are back in school. A lot of great music that is coming out this year already so far. I mean, and some that bumped up and come out at the very end of 2018. But man, just in general, we'll go over like the Texas country scene. Man, I get a lot of bashers on me because they think I'm biased to the Texas scene. I really ain't. It's just something to marvel at because it's a family atmosphere of artists that push each other and help each other and grow so much independently, you know, without needing, mainstream country music to support them. And you are one of those artists. So what is your best description of what separates, I guess you could say, the Texas country, Texas-Oklahoma country scene from, say, the Nashville or even the East Coast?
I think you're exactly right. You're spot on. You know, it's a family from top to bottom. If you ever go to Steamboat, that's kind of another way of watching it and seeing it. Because that's kind of how they are there, and how everybody. If you go up there and play, everybody says, "Way." It's just, it's a tough business anyway in general. And I lived in Nashville. I was a staff writer in Nashville for 8 years, and throughout that experience up there, it was just a different type of thing. Up there, it was more, "Hey, this is my competition," and you get in that kind of situation. And don't get me wrong, there's still a lot of competition here in Texas, but you're trying to, like you said, it's more a support system. We play Hollis, Clay was calling me just yesterday. We were just talking about the business in general and what next steps to take and things of that nature. So I feel like with what we created here, what they actually, I was not even here when they first created it. I was up in Nashville. But what it's become is just, like I said, a bond, a brotherhood of just artists that can lean on each other, open up for each other, and help build each other's career. Because at the same time, we're trying to build the markets. And, if you all go out and just say, okay, well, we want these 5 people to succeed and everybody else not to, and then these other people on the backside of it are, gas prices here or show, I don't know what you want to say, make our brand look bad, then it gives us as an entire entity a bad representation.
Exactly.
And then it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt our whole market, and that extends outside of Texas. Obviously, I mean, I was listening to your countdown, and some of your. I mean, you got some talented artists over there in Louisiana as well.
Yeah.
And,
yeah, man, you actually leading me into this next point that I was going to make is we have such talent in this state as well, and a lot of them are starting to, venture into that East Texas, kind of move out towards that area because and push their music into Texas because they love we love what Texas country has kept, and that is they have kept the genre alive, and there's a very broad range. I mean, you have your classic, steel guitar in there, and then you got the ones that are kind of, the young guys that are transcending, such as Cole Wetzel and Parker McCullum, and but then again, you got young guys that are stepping up, that are bringing that traditional sound, like Tristan Merez and all these other guys.
Yeah, Tristan's great.
So
Tristan's great.
it's just, I think what Texas country does for Louisiana, for any state around, it kind of draws us in to want to build that and have that that family bond of between artists and between, not who's the best. It's, we're all doing it because we love music. Even trickles down to people such as myself that do interviews and do charts. We do it because we love the music, man. And that's something that I think the Texas scene has really blown up in the past decade to show the whole world, really.
Right. And I agree. I concur. I think that it's just one of those things where we've gotten to a point now where, you don't need a label. You don't need that big machine behind you like, you would before.
Yeah. And I would have
normally. Go ahead.
I'd have to say, man, not only just the Texas artists. Obviously, you can play a whole tour and not leave the state and have such a fan base. But I think social media and internet in general has blown so many artists up to where, like, young artists such as Chris Colston and Colby Cooper and these guys that have, and Dylan Willer. I seen him about to break out before he broke out, and now he's up and like, these guys have followers and followings before they're even putting music out because of social media and because of YouTube or Snapchat or Facebook, and that's something that wasn't a tool to be used back, say even a decade ago.
No, you're completely right. The internet has shrunk the United States down. Probably the coolest thing is you are your own. You're your own label. So if you use it strategically in the right way, and you got to put a lot of time. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of work to be. If you're really doing it right, guys like Chris Colson, some of those. I mean, they have people that get especially Chris. Chris got picked once he got picked up and got with his management. They'll put people on that stuff. But Chris does the stuff that Chris does so well with a lot of his stuff is just being who he is, funny, making all those little videos with him, just being who he is, and who naturally, if you naturally know him, he's just a goofy guy. I don't personally know him, but I started following him not because of even his music,
just personality.
He's funny.
Yeah,
he was just a funny kid. And I'm like, God, this kid is hysterical. So I just watched him, and that's kind of what you do. Even and as much as social media for me, it's more of a job because I don't like being on the computer all day. And I don't do it as much as I should. But, there's so much stuff that you can use. If you actually put the time in it and effort into it, it does help grow a brand. And you help reach people that, for instance, if I'm in Louisiana and I don't know how many cities that you have that have actual venues in them. So you have 200 venues in the state. So if you have 200 venues in the state and you're in northern Louisiana, but you want to move down to the south and kind of build that market, social media allows you to do that without spending any money. And that's something that you're right. They didn't have that tool before. So I think if the young artists coming up really pay attention to the ones who do it the best, see what works, then find their niche in it. And that's the key too. I'm not funny like Chris, so that's not my niche. I do a thing called back porch picking, where I try to do it every week, but usually it's maybe once, twice a month. But I'll take 2 songs, old country songs, some newer, no newer than 2000. So actually, I did do one. I did Midland. Sorry.
Midland can't be. They're like back in time, man. Midland is
right. I agree 110%. So they remind me of the old school stuff. But what I do is I let them vote on the 2 songs, and then at the end of that day, I had 24 hours to learn that song and play it. So that's pretty cool, man. I like that concept and I like that idea, and that's. I mean, we've been sitting here talking about Texas country and all these other artists, but let's talk about Matt. Let's talk about you, man, and let's talk about this single "Lights Out" that we have on our chart, and a little a little backstory on it, man, about the writing and about how it came about. Yeah, I wrote it with it was me, Billy Montana, and John Stone, and we were sitting there just thinking about high school, and it's funny because you think about being a dad. Billy, he had son. He didn't have a girl, and I have a little girl. And I said this. We were just talking about the difference and being in high school and how you would react to certain things. Being a father, you know, if your son's, you know, got a girlfriend, you're like, yeah, and if it's a daughter, you're like, I'm gonna kill that boy.
Yeah.
And it's so funny the difference. And we were just talking about, you know, how we used to bring girls home, you know, on a date if we were late, if we sneak in, how we do it. And that's really how it all started. I'm from a small town called Nevada, Texas, spelled Nevada, and it's right outside of Dallas. And we have these long driveways because we live out in the country.
Yeah.
So when my girlfriend at the time, when I'd come home, the only one I really ever brought home late, I would come in to the drive and turn off the lights. But her driveway kind of slanted, so you could kind of coast.
Yeah.
All the way down it. So you couldn't hear the truck, you couldn't hear anything, and you coast all the way in the drive. And then as soon as I watched her get inside the house, I turned that bad boy on and flew down the road. You know.
Yeah.
So that's really where it came from. That and the fact that young love, especially in high school, I feel like that first kiss or that real intimate moment that you have in high school, it always feels like love. I mean, it's just that the feeling that you can't even recreate. It's so special in high school. I don't know what it is about it. It's different. And you think it's you know, I'm never going to be in love again.
Oh, yeah.
This is the one.
Yeah.
So we just want to kind of capture that moment. And the video's actually about to come out. We're doing a little editing right now, but I've got two kids, high school kids, that are actually going to be starring in the video. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Well, that's awesome. So when can we expect it? Like within a month or so?
I'm hoping in the next 2 weeks. It needs to come out now. And we should already have it done, but the editing, I'm hoping this week we get the editing done so we can announce, probably delay it one more week and do the actual release.
Awesome, man. So Lights Out, is that going to be a single that is going to, that like it's coming off of up and coming?
It's going to be the new record.
The new record?
Yeah. That's the name of it. It's also the title track to the record. Lights Out. It's a fun album. It's going to be, like I said, it's going to be, I keep saying album. They were just going to end up cutting an EP because we're going to have another one coming out pretty close behind it. So this will only be about maybe 7 months before the other new record's about to come out.
Awesome.
So, but yeah, it's a title track to it. There's some really good songs on it. Excited about it. Our next 3 singles are on it as well. So we're just going to boom, 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 boom. So it should be fun. Like I said, it's something that I'd be excited for your market to hear. Your market's a market that's untapped for us. I opened for Miranda Lambert once in Ruston.
Wow.
And the funny thing was like I was right out of high school when I did it. I was in a band out of Nashville, but I wasn't nothing like, I had long hair and it was, you know, but it was just totally different.
Different look, different really style. Excited.
Yeah, totally different.
I mean, now you've grown into your you know, yourself as an artist and you know, you've solidified yourself. And so for 2019 to start off, you know, with Lights Out, and you got the video coming, got the new record coming. I mean, it sounds like good things coming, man, and I'm happy to hear it, brother.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Like I said, it's people like you doing what you do and having us on and supporting and helping us, like I said, grow in your community as well. That's the thing. It's like I said, right, that whole Louisiana market is untapped for us. So to be able to share it, it's awesome. And it wasn't till I saw John Stork on your countdown, because John's a buddy.
Great guy. Great guy. Yeah, great guy. I actually got to do an interview with him too, and man, he's just awesome guy. I've heard it launched back. Actually, funny story of we had on our charts of probably months ago. It was I'm drawing a blank here. It was him and Leroy Gibbons that wrote this, not Rodeo Time. The name of the song was If I Don't Call. And we actually did an interview with Kyle Park and Leroy about the song, and he said, well, John kind of helped. So that was months before I even got in contact with John and his people, and then I got in contact with him, and he come out with a new single, and we put it up there, and got to do an interview with him, and just a great guy, man.
He's probably one of my. He's another one of those guys that, like, as far as social media, he's hysterical. If you've not watched him, but he's that funny all the time. We did a writer's retreat. We were doing the Drew Fish writer's retreat. We had a whole bunch of artists from Texas and a bunch of writers from Nashville and stuff. And we were all out there for like a week writing. And that's the first time I really got to hang out with John. And he was absolutely, I mean, I have not laughed that hard in forever. He's just a funny guy and so talented. And like I said, he's just a good person. And that kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier in the interviews. This scene. That's what it's about. It's not about, hey,
who's the
I'm
best?
This or I'm that.
Yeah.
It's just about it's about hanging out, having a good time, enjoying life, and the fact that we're doing this for a living. It's God's been good. So
amen. Amen to that, man.
It's a good thing.
So, I mean, as far as you got the new music coming out, you're on the road touring and playing. You got some shows coming up. I know you got some in Midland, and then you got the Houston Rodeo Cook-Off. I see you playing in late February.
Yeah.
I bet you guys are pumped to play that, huh?
Yeah, man. This will be 4 years running.
Awesome.
Actually, 4 years running. So and we're all 3 days. So. It's exciting and it's tiresome at the same time, and like I'm so excited about it, but my liver already hurts. I mean, it is that kind of party. It really is. And every year I say, I'm not going to drink that much this year. I'm gonna kind of pull it back a little bit. It doesn't happen.
But let me ask you this: when you're on the road and you're at the you're playing for crowds, do you play some of the unreleased songs?
Oh yeah. So here's what I'll do. Like unreleased songs, and there's stuff I'll play depending on the crowd, who we have in the audience, whether they're a party crowd or a listening crowd. I have songs that I've never even recorded.
Yeah. Yet
that I'll play, and you try to do that anyway, just to see. Here's a new one. What do you think about it?
Yeah.
So I have those songs in my back pocket all the time, and what I'll do is I'll let the guys take a break. We try to just kind of get them off stage and just do some acoustic stuff. So hey, let's see what y'all feeling tonight. And I have songs for every type of environment. If it's a whole bunch of girls, then I'd be playing certain songs. If it's a whole bunch of dudes, I'd be playing certain songs. And if it's mixed, then I have a good mixture of both. So you kind of just, like I said, feel the audience and know your room, I guess is the best way to put it.
Does that go into part of the process of your choice when it comes to the singles on your new records and stuff, like from the crowd reaction of playing songs that aren't been recorded yet, and so we're like, hey man, we've heard a lot of feedback from this song, let's go in the studio, let's bust this out.
No doubt. I mean, anybody tells you different, they're crazy. If you have a song that people go nuts over, and it's a constant thing, and you see it especially in different markets, then you'd be an idiot. And I mean an idiot not to jump on that, because normally you would send it out and see what people think. Sometimes I do that with, what I'll do is I'll say, hey, here's a new song, what do you think? And I'll put it out on Facebook or put it out on Instagram, and if they get a whole bunch of shares and views and likes, then I know I got something. And I might do 3 of them to get a comparison between the 3. So you set it out at the same time, hopefully not around the holidays or anything.
Yeah.
And you just see the kind of traction it gets. But I think that's what you have to do. You do your due diligence to make the best choice, because it's not cheap making a record, and it's sure not cheap putting out a single.
Nope.
So you only get one shot on each song, and you don't want to waste it.
Exactly. Exactly. And man, I mean, like I said, you have a lot of dates coming up in the Texas area. For the rest of the year, are you going to be venturing outside of Texas, playing shows?
We are. Yeah, we have a lot. I've got to update the calendar. There's a lot of stuff we have coming up. I mean, we're doing the Midwest. Big shows, Kansas, Nebraska, Oklahoma. And then I'm trying, like I said, the Louisiana market is something we're going to work really hard at getting into this year. Even if it's by the backside of the summer. You know, most clubs book out 6 months in advance, and we did, like I said, we're about 4 months out. We just got to add all the dates. I try not to overwhelm it.
Yeah.
Just put them all out there at once. And instead, we just kind of sprinkle it out as you get close. That way, it's always something, content coming on your page. But I don't know. It's one of those things that your market, Alabama, Mississippi, those are, I mean, that whole, you know, southern side of the United States.
There's a lot of talent that comes out of Alabama and Georgia, and you know, so it's similar to the Texas scene in the fact that they have so much flooded talent, but it's not that their goal mainly. I'll have friends that come from both states, and they tend to travel north to Nashville because that's, you know, they don't have the ability or even the you know, like such as I mentioned earlier in Texas, where you can hit it big and just never have to leave the state, you know, and because it's such a huge state, such a huge you know, venues everywhere and fan base, but yeah, I think it's something, it's harder for guys and girls such as yourself in the Texas scene that can travel around your whole state and just do a whole tour to venture into other states outside, you know, in the east or whether it be a Midwest or North, and tap into that you know, those venues. Is much harder for you guys than it would be for those guys to come to Texas, because I've seen a lot of guys that or girls that come out of that area that end up playing shows with Texas people. So it's more of an inviting scene in Texas, so I really applaud you guys that challenge yourselves coming out of Texas, saying, look, we want to broaden out, we want to go outside and get our fan base, you know, whether it be north, whether it be east, whether it be, you know, even further west. So yeah, it definitely is a challenge, man, but it's you know, I love seeing it. I love seeing it be successful.
And like I said, it's something that we appreciate that, and it's something that all the artists here. I mean, there's places, you know, we went to spring break in Florida. You know, everybody goes to, if you didn't go to Destiny, you go to Panama City.
Yep.
You go to all those different places up and down, you know, the border of Florida, Alabama, or Florida, Alabama. You know, you're down there all the time on those spring breaks and stuff. So it's not like, I think because when we were in high school or college that we did all those things that everybody else does, it's just a natural fit for us to come back and do it. But you just got to figure, like I said, you got to figure your market out. Those markets are a little different, especially for some of us that are more traditional, like myself. But you know, look at Cody Johnson. He's the mark, man. He is the mark.
I say it almost every podcast, man. It's Cody and Aaron Watson are two. These guys have been doing it for decades in Texas, and finally, you know, Nashville's accepting and blowing them up into the likes of mainstream, and I'm so like happy to see that, because I've been a Kojo fan and an Aaron Watson fan, and there's so many greats come out of, you know, Texas that don't get the recognition. People down south know them, you know, even Louisiana people know them, but you know, a lot of people don't know them up north because they don't get that you know, that broadcast thing. But Cody has blown up over the past year, and he deserves every bit of it.
Yeah, he's a hard worker. You know, Cody. The great thing about Cody's the dancer, the one that brought you. Cody's kept his whole band. For the most part, there's only one guy that I know that's not with the original band, and that was that guy's fault. But outside of that, he's kept his whole band. He's kept everybody together. He's a good family man. He's just a good dude. He really is. I mean, he's that guy. But he works. He works so hard.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's just. I mean, you got to be, man. You got to.
when I seen, he released about a month or so ago, he had teased about him and another great guy out of the state of Texas, Randall King, buddy of mine, that's blowing up too.
Oh, Randall's killing it. Yeah.
When those two playing in the Ryman Auditorium in May, like that right there, I think is what can be, like, that breaks all of the old traditional Nashville type. Like, you have two guys coming out of Texas that had no label, no nothing. They write all their stuff. They're good guys, hardworking guys, honest guys. Trust, keep most of their band. Like you said, it's a family. And those two guys to be playing in one of the most, nostalgic, prestigious places in country music is something to be said for, the state of Texas and country music.
Yeah, that's Randall's the perfect, like I said, perfect example. Randall is exactly Cody. They're actually same management. Howie brought him on, and once he got with Howie, which is Kojo's company, once that happened, it's been on for Randall. But Randall was that guy already. Randall got brought on because he was a hard worker. He was talented. He could sing, he could write, he could play. And they watched him grow over the years.
Very smart guy, too. Very smart musically,
Yes. Yes. Again, you try to, you got to watch the people you grew up, your heroes. You got to watch all the things that they did right, they did wrong. Try to mold your career after those. And then once you figure it out, or you think you figure it out, or get to a point where you can do something about it, is a better way of saying it, and you just put all your effort into that. And that's what Randall and Cody did. Randall, go ahead.
That was a great, I like that analogy and that, what you said. So, who were some of your, idols that you grew up listening to that you molded yourself around?
Man, that's a good question. Obviously, I was a huge George Strait fan growing up. Everybody is in Texas. It's kind of like, the given. But I'll never forget, I looked at the back of the CD and I saw Dean Dillon all over everything. And that's when I realized how much songwriting was a part of it.
Oh, yeah.
And then, so from that point on, I really started paying attention. Golly, it's let's see, there's so many artists. I love Chestnut. I love the older stuff. Chestnut, there's Gary. I didn't idol myself or model myself behind Gary Stewart, but Gary Stewart was like, in Texas, he is the king of honky tonk.
Yep.
Like, he is the original, because he never really played stadiums. He just played honky tonks and got drunk every night. Obviously, that's not my MO.
Yeah, but the music.
There was something about him. He played songs that made you cry in your beer, and I don't care how drunk he got, everybody showed up, and it was always sold out. But I think so was George, Chestnut. I liked Alan Jackson, obviously. I tried to stick with the guys that just played that traditional. Merle Haggard, Waylon Jennings, Willie. Good gosh, Willie's one of the all-time greatest writers, probably top 5 greatest writers of all time, if you look at what he's done. And in fact, he's still doing it. Guys like that, it's just, I've always had a...
Are you a Jones fan?
I am. I like George Jones, but he's not my top. I think the thing with George was the thing that I just heard so many bad stories about him.
Yeah.
That I kind of got turned off about him. And it's funny because I liked Gary Stewart yet.
Yeah.
I held it against George Jones. But there was kind of I don't know. And like I said, 90s country was, when you grow up in the 90s country, it's so different than
back then.
Everything else.
Some of my 90s country favorites, like you mentioned, Chestnut, and you got Tracy Lawrence, and
Tracy Lawrence was another one.
Big one, Travis Tritz, and just and then it goes into your bands such as Black Hawk and all. It just, man, and then 90s country was I grew up a 90s country, but my dad always listened to the old school stuff, with Merle and with George Jones, and it's funny you mentioned George Strait. Everybody, George Strait is always the epitome king of country, but he really, the amount of number ones he had and the amount of stuff that he's still doing to this day, it amazes me that, if you're not in the music industry and actually know how many songs that George Strait is not one that he's not a great songwriter, but he will take a song and turn it into a number one and how many number ones that he's had that have come from great songwriters, and I always say there's the George Strait types that can take a song that was wrote by somebody else and turn it number one, and then you have the ones that are more like Merle and those guys that. They wrote about their lives and they went through so much stuff and they still was able to. They're not the clean cut cowboys, more the rugged, but yet you live vicariously through their music.
Oh, and Merle, I think Merle he would be hand in hand. Him and George would be neck and neck. If you really do the backstory of Merle Haggard, there's a PBS special. I was up there with. First time I watched this was with Mark Chestnut. It's me, Mark Chestnut, Jimmy Ritchie, who's our producers, and we were up in Nashville. And this is the first time I ever got to meet Mark Chestnut, outside of a concert or shaking his hand and this that. And we're sitting there and we're all just hanging out. And it's probably one of the cool stories because he's a huge George Jones fan. His biggest fan. He's the biggest supporter of George Jones ever.
Yeah.
He sat there and played me George Jones songs for hours. It was insane.
Yeah.
And I was in awe because I was starstruck because I'm sitting here. If all my friends would have saw me sitting with Chestnut and playing George Jones fans, they'd never believe it. And my phone's downstairs, and I'm like, this isn't happening.
Yeah.
It was probably it's just one of those cool moments in what we do that you can sit there and go, wow.
Yeah.
And he was just telling me, first time he got to meet Chestnut. The Jones, and George Jones brought him on his bus, and he said, play me some of your favorite songs you grew up on. And he started playing, he was playing White Lightning and all these songs by George Jones. And him and George became friends shortly after that. But that night, we came downstairs, and we watched a PBS special about Merle Haggard. And for another 2 hours, all we did was drink, and just sit here and watch this thing. And it was just so cool because you see a guy who's been around forever just enthralled in this Merle Haggard.
Yeah.
And the story and backstory of Merle Haggard was so... If you ever get a chance to see it, I think it's Kick the Footlights Out. I think that's what they call it.
Merle,
I know it's a song, but I'm pretty sure that's what...
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
You got to see it. It's worth...
Yeah, I believe Merle is one of the greats that gets overlooked so much by the Joneses and, Hank Williams Jr. and Hank Williams Sr. and Waylon Jennings. Merle Haggard was an amazing songwriter, amazing artist that a lot of, he gets kind of overlooked in that because I don't think he really cared that much about, being in the spotlight, but the music that he produced in his lifetime, man. You guys definitely check it out. I'm gonna check out this interview documentary he's talking about Merle Haggard. But yeah, we could sit here and talk about the greats all for days, man. But we're here to talk about you and Lights Out, man. And we hope it keeps climbing. Y'all go, stream it on Spotify, buy it on iTunes, Google Play, all that. Look forward to as soon as the video comes out, man. We'll be sure to share that on everything, man. And y'all can check out Matt's website, mattcaldwell.com, and check out his shows and his music and all that stuff and his social media accounts. And, keep up with him because he's going to be going all around playing some good music, and he's got some stuff coming for 2019 that we're all excited for down here.
Awesome. And like I said, we're going to come your way here soon. I promise. It is in the works right now. We've been reaching out, so we hope to have something at least by the end of summer, if we can we want to make a run at least, kind of out of Shreveport. Come on down.
Yeah, man, that'd be awesome. I mean, I know I would definitely love to go, and I like to venture out and try to come towards Texas and see. But it definitely to get you guys come down here would be awesome.
Well, man, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, man. Well, look, before we head out, obviously I always have to give props and thanks to our friends and partners and all that stuff, and I definitely want to give a big shout out to the Texas Country Music Association. We are proud members of the Texas Country Music Association. They do great things, and it is actually today is Miss Linda Wilson, the president. It is her birthday today while we are recording this. So happy birthday to you, Miss Linda. We also
happy birthday.
Yeah, we also have Redborn Music is out of Louisiana. It's a up and coming promotion label group that a lot of artists on our chart from Louisiana UC is on it. So shout out to Seth Storer and Redborn Music with those guys. Blue Lark Entertainment, Generate Promotions, In Tune Entertainment. Man, just thank all those guys in the music side of things. And then our friends with Southern Sound Outfitters. It is amazing to me what they do as an apparel brand for up and coming artists in the Texas scene and really all over. But go check out Southern Sound Outfitters. They got some great apparel coming for 2019. They have some great stuff up now. And also, for all you Texans and rodeo fans, go check out DaleBrisby.com at rodeo time. Get some Dale wear. And also get yourself a pair of Beck sunglasses, the best in the business. And for all the outdoorsmen out there, we're very big friends and partners with Swamp Assassin, my buddy Corey Adams. They got gear for hunting, fishing, whatever you like to do, whatever, out just being outdoors, So check out swampassassin.com, check out DaleBrisby.com, and like I mentioned, Southern Sound Outfitters. And when you go to Southern Sound Outfitters and you go to that cart and you're going to check out, you'll see a little tab says, who did you hear about, SSO from? All you got to do is enter BCMA, let them know that we sent y'all that way. And we really appreciate it. And we appreciate you, Matt, coming on, man. And I'm going to let you have the last say here to thank anybody if you want to thank, or say anything.
First and foremost, thanks to all your listeners and just what y'all do. Obviously, radio is such a big part of what we do. There's no way around that at all. Generate Promotions they're my radio people. So Texas National Outfitters out of the Houston and Austin area, they're my other sponsors. But again, just for having us on, and everybody out there that listens, thanks for supporting us. Please go add us on Spotify and all those things. And like I said, when we come out, love to see you out there at the show. That's really how we grow more than anything, is buying those tickets and coming into the show and meeting us. Well,
man, we definitely will be shouting it out when you come to this area, and we will be, hopefully we'll be there to support. But if we're not and something comes up, we're definitely going to get some people to come your way, man, because we know, with our chart, we try to promote the music, and we got, obviously, you wouldn't be on our chart if you didn't have some fans around, man. You're at number 30. Keep climbing, man. Y'all keep streaming it on Spotify, and y'all check out all of his website, his social medias, and keep up with Matt for 2019 because he's got some good stuff coming, and I'm excited for it. Mr. Matt Caldwell, we really appreciate you coming on the show, man. You're always welcome back anytime you want to come back on, whether it be just talk about something you've seen on the road. You're welcome anytime, brother.
Thanks again, man. I appreciate you having me, and until next time, we'll see you down the road.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys for listening, and y'all have a blessed day.